this shit outside my house. That is a whole ass, like, National Geographic, Smithsonian ass icicle. Stalagmite. It's a whole stalagmite on my house. Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna try and knock it down so it doesn't hurt anyone.
Here is a chart of the NASDAQ Composite, the world's main technology index. It peaked in the dot-com bubble on March 10th, 2000. The PE ratio later peaked above 500. Wow. In hindsight, this is widely agreed to have been a bubble. In March 2015, the index value for the first time since then surpassed the peak. Why might some investors at that point have argued this time it's different? So let's see what's on the chart. So we have the last PX. Don't know what that is. General earnings, PE. Well, just looking at the chart, I'm going to say that when the price to earnings ratio was very high, earnings were very low. Does it tell me what the PX is? Maybe I was supposed to understand that. Okay, so price, that's what it is. It's a price. So prices were high, but earnings were low. But this time, prices are high, earnings are high, and the PE is low. So things are moving in a better way. So why have some investors at this point argued that this time it's different? So let's see. Earnings grew substantially, meaning that the PE ratio in early 2015 was only around 164. Actually, no. The PE, oh, well, yeah. This is 100? 100, 200, 300, 400. So that's wrong. Okay. In comparison to low bond yields in early 2015, a 6% earnings year than the last DAC looked more reasonable. No. I'm gonna say it's that one because that has the most correct information. Earnings did grow substantially. Look at that. It is around 30%. Yeah, right there. Pretty sure that's right. Yeah, so see the brown earnings line in the chart. In 1999, it was closer to the x-axis, and in 2015, it had multiplied in value. This was driven by many factors. For example, Google was 1 year old in 1999, and it listed in 2004. As of early 2015, it was the second largest stock in the NASDAQ and the most profitable. In 1999, Apple was early in its turnaround. As of early 2015, it was the biggest stock on the NASDAQ. Okay, yeah, so it just made the most sense. So in the bubble, prices, and this is generally what a bubble is, it's when prices are totally untethered from actual value. So if you look at the chart, the price of the stock is supposed to be correlated to future earnings. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically the price of the stock is related to the valuation. The valuation is created by projections on how much money the company is going to earn in the future. And when you buy a stock, you're buying a right to become entitled to the company's future earnings. So you have the prices up in the 500s while the earnings are down in hell. So you have a PE ratio that's like super, super high. If I'm understanding this chart correctly, right? So this is a bubble because the high prices are not tethered to the actual earnings of the company, which creates a massive PE ratio. I think. Am I understanding that correctly? But in this situation, over here, the reason why it's not a bubble, because the price is high, okay, but the earnings are also high, which means that the price to earnings ratio is low. So this makes sense. The price is high because the company is earning a lot of money. So ideally it will, or figuratively or mentally, whatever, it's going to earn more money into the future because it's doing well now, which means it should be doing well in the future. Versus here, the price is super high, but the earnings are super low, which means that the price to earnings ratio is super high. Okay. I don't know if that made sense. That's just how I was able to understand and answer the question. Okay, so let's go to the next question. So the World Equity Index function shown contains two valuation metrics for the S&P 500. The Verizon description page contains the same two valuation metrics. How does Verizon's valuation compare to that of the S&P 500? So this is Verizon. I'm just reading it here. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be looking at. I guess the PE ratio is 11.71. Estimated earning per share is $4.67. A price of a share is about $59. Year-to-date change, so I guess it's grown about 5%. Market cap 243,705.4 million. So I think that's like $24 billion. Management, Hans, okay, they're based in Illinois. Okay. So now, and then they said, look at the S&P 500. So the S&P 500, price earnings ratio 9.6. Okay. Value 2,890. Okay. Dividend yield 1.91. Okay. So let's see, how does Verizon's valuation compare to that of the S&P 500? So Verizon is less expensive than the S&P 500 on both the PE and dividend yield basis. Verizon is more expensive than S&P 500 on both the PE dividend yield basis. Verizon is less expensive than the S&P 500 on a PE basis, but more expensive on a dividend yield basis. Verizon is more expensive than S&P on a PE basis and less expensive on a dividend yield basis. Okay, so let's compare the PE. So you have 11.71 PE here, and you have 19.01. So Verizon is less expensive on a P/E basis. So then let's look for the dividend yield. Where does it say the dividend yield? Oh, dividend. Okay. This is 4.9%. And this dividend yield is 1.91%. So I think that it is more, or no, less expensive. Verizon is less expensive on a P/E and more expensive on a dividend yield because the gross yield is greater, but the price to earnings ratio is lower. Okay. Dang, I got it wrong. Okay, so let's see, what does it say? The higher the PE ratio, the more expensive the stock. Okay, so I had that right. The lower the dividend yield, the more expensive the stock. Okay, so that's the part that I messed up on. This is because a dividend yield is the annual dividend by the share divided by the share price. So if the share price is high in relation to the dividend yield is low. Okay, so let's read that over again. The higher the PE, the ratio, the more expensive. The lower the dividend yield, the more expensive. Dang. If the earnings per share of a company is $3.85 and the earning yield is 2.5%, what is the price per share? So let me go to my calculator. So that would mean that $3.85 is equal to percent of X. $154. Basic math, I got it. This chart shows a scatter plot with the x-axis being the estimated sales growth and the y-axis being the estimated P/E multiple. Given this data alone, which of the following companies may warrant further analysis by a portfolio manager looking to buy an insurance company for a portfolio? Can we zoom in? Oh, I should have done this the whole time. This is probably better for you guys. Okay. So Chubb, Allstate. How the hell am I supposed to know where the other ones are? They don't say. Okay. Well, it looks like the industry as a whole is not doing well. So it looks like sales are going to decline, right? You want high growth and low PE. So where's Allstate? Allstate 2.77, PE 12.39. Eric Indemnity. Is that even on here? No. Markle, low growth, high PE, not ideal. Allstate. I think she should choose Chubb. Chubb is going to have the greatest growth, and its price to earnings ratio is pretty low, and that's better. Let me go. Do you want a high P or low P? Generally speaking, a high PE ratio indicates that investors expect higher earnings. However, a stock with high PE ratio is not necessarily better than a lower PE ratio, as a PE ratio can indicate the stock is being overvalued. Well, this PE is even lower than the other. Where are you going, Mom?
How's Grid going?
Oh, okay. Forgot.
Texas is the only state in the union that has its own power.
Yes, I did. I actually, it's so crazy. You know, people say going to college is a waste of time. They're wrong. I took a class.
You used to say that.
Well, when I was 14, adults say this now, so that's a different. But I took a class on like the power grid and sustainable energy and everything like that. This whole power grid situation. I mean, Texas is unique in that it has its own thing.
It can be a good and a bad thing.
It can be a good and a bad thing, but just generally across America, the power grid is a disaster.
I know, yeah, because it should be more than just three.
It should be more than just three, but even the problem goes even deeper than just the grid, because there's so many different servicers of the grid, like in different municipalities. There's no way to get control of or regulate the system. Oh, did you hit the alarm? There's no way to get control of the system and regulate it, so that if you know an event like this is, it's like there's so many people involved in the power grids that even if you know this is coming, there's not even enough time to get everybody on the same page about what to do.
That's what
yeah, that when it comes, it doesn't even matter. Like,
yeah, that's what they're all doing on the news. Well, it wasn't Encore, it was Epcot. Epcot said it was Encore. You know what? I'm in charge of my power grid. I'm going over there to check it.
Exactly. Like you couldn't, even if you wanted to, you couldn't get control of everything.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna let him peek it. I'm gonna start up the car.
Okay. Yeah, you guys, like the power grid is such a disaster in America. Like, even if like, okay, so right now in Texas, pause on the Bloomberg. right now in Texas, we're having this huge power outage, we're having this huge storm, and it's all crazy and it's all a big mess. But the power grid is so sectarian, it's so fractured. There's so many different suppliers of energy, even though there's not that many, full sale grids. There's so many different sailors that even when some huge event is coming, a hurricane is coming, a blizzard is coming, there's not even a concrete way to get everybody on the same page about what's going on and what to do, because it's all privatized and it's all fractured. And it's just a mess. It's just really a mess. But let's get back into these stonks. Okay, so I'm gonna say that they should choose Chubb. It's got a high growth. It's got a little bit of a lower PE. I mean, lower than Allstate for sure. So it's gonna be more, what is this? So the growth is like up here. And then the PE is like over here. So I'm gonna just go with Chubb. I hope that's right. I mean, the sales growth is out of control.
Nicholas, there's an icicle out there that's so big. Be careful. Right here on this side of the door.
Okay, do you want to knock it down?
No, it looks like something from a horror movie that'll come down and kill you.
Okay.
That's how big it is. Just be careful when you get out here.
Okay, can you close the door? It's getting cold.
Yes, and make sure Kodak doesn't get too close to that.
Okay.
Right here.
You want me to knock it down, Mom?
No, leave it alone.
Okay. She got the door open and I'm not wearing no clothes, yo. I got on a tank top and some shorts. Okay. Portfolio managers are typically hunting for a bargain. While high sales growth is attractive, it will be weighted against the reasonableness of the multiple being paid for the shares. Buying a rapidly growing company for a low multiple is the goal for many portfolio managers. In this case, the most rapidly growing company is Chubb, has one of the lowest multiples of the peer group. It is growing more rapidly.
The fall was pretty nasty, on that we can agree. But they're never really clean, and sometimes neither is the break. And by the time I left you, the room looked like a bruise. A curtain breach let pink and blue light wash across your face. But is it so unforgivable to wander off the course? We had a pretty good run, but I just can't fucking do it anymore. I was eager to commit once, not for forever. 'Cause if you remember, I never once said you should never say never. 'Cause that's gravity for you. When you're stuck up and stupid, it turns you into a student for thinking you were so clever. But is it so unforgivable to wander off the course? We had a pretty good run, but I just can't fucking do it anymore. And I'm not afraid to call it the way that it is. Looks like you wasted a wish on some supposed second wind. And I don't care who sees me behaving so ugly. I just hate that you loved me and that this is how it ends, but is it so unforgivable to wander off the court? We had a pretty good run, but I just can't fucking do it anymore.
Now I have to do my marketing homework. So we're going to do my marketing homework together. So I have to watch this documentary. It's like about 30 minutes. And then I have to answer some questions. So I'll be answering the questions kind of at the same time. And we also have a textbook, but I cannot show you the textbook because it's not for public consumption. So yeah, let's get it started. So as you can see, this is a documentary. It's called Not by Genes Alone. And I have to basically answer these questions. So why does Levi's want to get into the suit business? What does the 4 C's tell us about the suit business? The 4 P's, I guess. And yeah, so it's just 4 questions, I guess. And I got to read the book. So let's watch the documentary.
We are watching a seldom seen ritual of modern corporate marketing. The man himself. In June of 1980, Haas became general manager of a new marketing division, created specifically to introduce the most expensive and formal clothing ever to carry the Levi name.
Okay, well, wait. This is kind of the beginning answer to the first question. So why does Levi want to get in the suit business? So Levi's wants to get into the suit business because the jeans market is saturated. Levi's has seen 23% year-over-year growth, but does not foresee, does not think it can continue to grow at this rate if it stays in the jeans niche.
How many? We're probably going to have to go to upper moderate price points and somewhat higher taste levels for our products.
In order for a company like Levi Strauss to
Okay,
extend,
that's another reason. So the executives, how do you spell that? Okay, the executives at Levi felt that in order to grow, they needed to expand their product offerings to higher price points and a higher taste.
its sales and profit growth. We need to diversify, to develop new products. And this is a lot more difficult than it was when we were just filling demand for a 5-pocket Western jean.
Okay, so they want to target the classic. Is that what they said the guy's name is? A classic independent?
Classic independent is a fast.
Yeah, the classic independent customer. This customer makes up 20% of the market, but buys 41% of the product.
dress is traditional. Lapels are never too wide and never too narrow. He really likes
that Levi would do that well.
travel agent is not so sure, is it?
I think Levi, I think jeans. And if they're
Yeah,
making suits, I would have to be convinced.
I just want to say that goes, I feel like them making suits goes against the whole core of their brand. Like what, Levi suits? No, no. If they want to do that, they need to make a whole new brand. Just make a whole new brand. Call it something different. Instead of calling it Levi, call it Evil. It's backwards. Evil suits or something. Like call it gold. Call it gold the suit, but don't compromise your brand in that way. All right, well, I could tell you what the fundamental problem was. I could tell it to you right now. They clearly identified, I mean, they put so much money in, this doesn't even make any sense. They put so much money and time into doing that market segmentation study to clearly realize that their ideal customer does not shop at department stores. That was like one of the first things that they said. Q2, classic independent. This person shops at specialty stores. This person is very particular about what they want. So they've already missed the mark with Levi tailored classics. It can't be tailor-made if you bought it off the rack. You have to get it tailored. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Oh, I gotta do the four. So it's the 4 Ps and the 4 Cs. So the 4 Ps are promotion, place, price, and product. And then the 4 Cs are customer, competitor, company, and contacts. Contacts being economic, political, historic contacts type of thing. Competitors being the other companies in the space, the customer being the person that you're trying to sell to, and the company, because you may be trying to launch, I mean, in this context, right? You're trying to launch a new product, right? But you're launching it within the company. So the company is known for one thing, but you're trying to do this thing. So it's not like you're going from jeans to belts, which is like a perfect match for the company, because obviously if you wear jeans, you'll probably also wear belts, because every jeans has belt loops, right? But this is jeans to suits. So it's just totally different. Different materials, different supply chains, different vibes, and as we're seeing here, a different type of customer, because they're trying to do something more different, more luxurious. Now, why, if they decided that they wanted to make a premium product and they wanted to reach a new market, why they didn't just try to make a premium or a luxury version of their product, I don't understand. Or even try to go in a way different direction, maybe do like boots or something, because jeans and boots kind of go together. Like do like a luxury cowboy boot. Oh man, that'd be sick. Like a luxury cowboy boot, like a snakeskin, crocodile skin cowboy boot that you can charge, $3,000 for. Oh yeah, that would have been crazy. I don't know if you could have charged $3,000 in 1982, and I'm thinking like inflation, like what would you pay for like a really serious luxury shoe? But I mean, even then, like boots now are expensive. So like, yeah, this was just a bad plan. This was just a bad plan. And I don't know how they thought this was bound to fail just because the strategy just didn't make any sense. And I don't know why the strategy didn't make any sense when it seemed like they put so much work into doing this market segmentation study, unless they really didn't, I guess. And this was just all for show. Like they were trying to fake the funk that they really understood their customer, and they didn't, which I mean, clearly they didn't. Their product didn't work, it didn't sell. Yeah, Levi's, what the heck? I guess that's why we don't have Levi suits today. If they had called me, I would have told them, I would have said, if I could have done this marketing campaign, I would have said, okay, this is the type of customer that we're trying to get to. This person who doesn't care about price, who wants something cool, wants something unique, doesn't want people to tell them what to wear, wants to do their own thing. They're independent, but they're classic. So they're free thinking, but they still want their own thing. Let's make something. Let's not call it Levi's. Let's call it Evi. Call it Levi Rouse. Just give it a new name. These are suits by Levi Rouse. Of course, owned by Levi Strauss Company, but Levi Rouse suits. Let's put them in a few stores across America and across Europe. And let's not work on margin. Let's work on value. Let's work on a premium brand and just build that over time. Because that's another thing that this customer, they didn't mention it, but I would bet that this customer probably cares about. They care about heritage and they care about brand and they care about something that feels classic. Something that feels classic and unique, which means something that feels classic. If you feel classic, you have to have heritage, you have to have meaning, but then unique, something that not everybody has, not everybody knows about, not everybody can get. Yeah, so that's what I would have done. And just rolled it out slow. This is a business you got to build over time. But they didn't hire me, and it looks like all those people got fired in the end. So, okay, thanks for watching.
Tirando meu batom.